Right, so today I'm going to be talking about a print interview between NME magazine and, of course, the extremely famous international rock star Paul McCartney, of course, member of the Beatles. This interview, it's a semi-formal kind of interview. NME's known for being quite semi-formal, quite chilled out and relaxed. They just want to get to their music. And Paul McCartney, of course, extremely famous. So I think just to start with, the semi-formal style of interview, I think, is quite effective so the audience know who he is. When we see Paul McCartney, we just think about the front man of the Beatles, of course, aside from John Lennon, but we don't really know him. But if you're talking in a formal style, you don't really understand someone's personality. But if it's semi-formal, it means, of course, they can be professional, which they have to be. It's Paul McCartney. They have to be professional of anyone, really. But it means we can get to know them as like an actual member of society. So anyway, to open up with, I think the interviewer uses like multi-stranded questions to investigate who Paul McCartney is and what kind of person and music he listens to. A multi-stranded question, of course, would be like questions that connect together. So he'll say something, the interviewer will say, "How are you today?" Paul McCartney will answer, "I'm good." And then the multi-stranded part is when the interviewer goes, "Oh, why is that?" But because that connects the two together, makes them one question in two. And I think by using this, we understand the important information that so the interviewer will ask a direct question. It's important. It's what the news story is about. But I think that by using the multi-stranded question, it emphasizes that Paul McCartney's a person, and we want to know him personally, and we get to know him. And I think it helps the audience to understand him really. Like, if you look at Paul McCartney on the news, there's of course been a great amount of controversy of Paul McCartney. Some people say he's quite hard to work with. He's become a bit egotistical of age. But I think it shows the other side to him, really. He's not just this egotistical maniac. He's just passionate about music, really, and he just wants to work in music for the rest of his life. The interviewer asks a question, is it a competition? So I'm asking, is the interviewer's open question about competition useful in telling the audience about how Paul McCartney works? And I think by doing the direct multi-stranded question, again, like I said before, it opens up what he is. We learn more about him. He talks more. We get the direct question with the necessary piece of information, but then we also get the understanding through the multi-stranded question of asking about, is it competition? And also that just gives us a bit of extra news, really, because then he goes on to talk about how the music industry is just a competition as it is. It's hard to get into. You've got to be on your best game to get to the top. The interviewer also then asks a suggestive question, and it kind of amplifies, how to put it, it's an effective way of amplifying how he makes his music. So by doing suggestive, he can lead him on to something, so the interviewer can get, the audience may think something they always wanted to ask him. So it'll be like he's doing that. He'll be asking that question, but more suggestive, because he doesn't want to directly answer it, because it's just the interviewer's choice. He doesn't directly ask it, he just leads him on, so then we can just get more detail, and also it saves a bit of time, really. He doesn't have to talk about it like the whole time, really. And as I mentioned before, I think the informal style of the interviews it's more effective in making the audience like part of it. Like, they have a laugh with him and everything. He doesn't just go, like the opening question says, it's unique for someone your age to be going to a Jay-Z and Kanye gig. And of course, Jay-Z and Kanye appealed to very much the modern, younger audience. It's R&B rap. And of course, Paul McCartney, he's in his 70s now, and he was in the Beatles. Like, completely different variants. But the way he asks it in the informal style, it doesn't make it seem rude. So he asks, because a lot of people, it seems unusual for someone your age, that could be taken quite offensively. But the way he says it is a way of making it so Paul McCartney knows he's not being offensive, he just wants to know what is going on.